Okay, so this is my introductory to carb rebuild. So first off, I thought it would be good to show detail each part of the carburetor so we know what we're looking at. Okay, so this is a 1983 GL1100 carb rack. It sat for at least 10 years with gas in it. So I'm going to be disassembling, cleaning, and bringing it back to running condition, the least expense possible. So, so just pointing out the different parts of the carburetor. First off, this is sitting how it sits on the bike. This is a right side, left side. Got the number 3 carb, number 1 carb, number 4, and number 2. Number 3 has a vacuum fitting for the vacuum advance. So that's on the right rear as you're sitting on the bike. Each carburetor has a slider cover. I've already taken off these 3. I still have this one on. The screws hold it on. Lift the slider cover off. There's a spring underneath. Don't want to damage those. That spring decides the tension against the slider. So don't want to stretch it or modify it in any way. Be careful with those. At each slider, the problem here I can't really detail exactly how everything, because these sliders are all frozen in from old gas. So what I'm going to do here is just show what I can. And there's a fiber seal all the way around, like a O-ring, but it's a hard fiber between the slider and the carb body. Sits right down in there on all 4. You gotta be real careful with those. Those are delicate, and I don't think they're available anywhere, so don't break them. It'll be obvious when the sliders come out. If you had a running rack of carbs and these sliders would come out, those rings would also be loose and you could lift them right out. So yeah, these sliders are frozen in, but in a future video, when after I soak them, I'll be able to get these sliders out, the vacuum sliders. Then we can look at those rings. Okay, and detailing what all the parts are of the carburetor. This is a bell crank. This is where your throttle cables connect. Put this over here. Each one of the carburetors has a air cutoff. There's one here, one here, one here, one here. And as you can see, you can't get them off. The only one you can get off right now with the carburetor, with the rack assembled, is this one, which is on number 1. You can get this one off, but there's an O-ring behind it. If the O-ring falls out, it's a real pain to get it back in. So I'm going to hold off on that. But in another video, I took this cover off and looked at the cutoff diaphragm. So then we've got the sync screws. One here, one here, one here. And this is the choke linkage. It moves, but the throttle plates shafts are frozen. Hoping all that loosens up in the soaking. This here is where the air filter housing bolts on. And this is a gasket below it. Right here, two bolts hold the housing on. Then you got the throttle linkage right here, tying the 2 sides together. This again is frozen. And this is where the fuel line connects. Yeah, I'm going to flip the carburetors over. The sliders, vacuum sliders are frozen in here so they won't fall out when I flip the carburetor over. But if you have a running rack of carbs, these are going to slide in and out easily. So you wouldn't want to flip the carburetor over with these if they do come out, if they will slide out. Because when you flip it over, they're going to fall out. So I can do that here. But if you've got the slider caps off, then you want to take those sliders out before you flip it over. So we're looking here. We've got the okay, it's reversed. We got the number 3 carburetor here. This is the accelerator pump. It's tied into the linkage there. I don't know if you can see it. And here we got the mixture screws. It's idle mixture screws, one on each carb. And you got the fuel inlet tube here. That's where the hose from the fuel pump connects. That's the tube that passes fuel to the next carburetor. Within here, within number 3, it supplies the other side, and it passes through to the other carb. And then each float bowl, there's a drain screw, the brass screw. There. And I think that's about it. That's an introductory to the carbs. Take a look at the throttle plates while we're at it here.